Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. It's the In Wheel Time car talk show. This segment, we head to the Great Northwest for a chat with the Lilienthals.
Sweet!
Conrad will have the In Wheel Time car clinic, and we'll also take a look and talk about this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We always need more. Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad you could join us now to the Great Northwest. We hope that's where they are. Here they are, Mercedes and Andy Lilienthal.
Dun, dun,
Good
dun.
morning, you guys. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing all right.
Hanging in there. Thanks for having us on the show.
Where are you?
We are
home.
we're home for like another 24 hours,
Yeah.
then we hit the road again. We just got back from the 2022 SEMA show in Las Vegas. We were there last week. We're here for about 2 days, and then we hit the road for Denver, Colorado.
You know, you guys have become kind of like the
Traveling wheelberries.
Well, I was going to say the Kindig car show. I mean, you guys have become superstars. I'm thinking that at the next Autorama, you guys are going to have an appearance, a 4-hour party, a signing, if you will, up there at the guest booth. What do you think?
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
So did you drive to SEMA?
We actually did not. Got on an airplane, so but we are driving to Denver. So
Yep.
What vehicle are you taking?
we're taking our Mitsubishi Delica van. We're going to have some work done on it from a company called Agua, and it's a Czech-based company. They build some really cool modular interior van setups, and for trucks and vans and SUVs, so you can sleep in them and cook with outside and all that kind of stuff. So excited to.
Are you having those modifications done to the van?
Yes. Yeah, we're finally going to. I have a ridiculous sleeping platform that my buddy and I built that I call it the Whammo Silly Sleeper because it moves all around and it's terrible. You can barely sit upright in it. So it was time for an upgrade.
Whammo.
Yeah, and I noticed that Mercedes was laughing
I know.
the entire time that you were describing it. She's going, "Oh my God,
She's
I can't
describing
believe
the undulations.
that I've been in this van in that." Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's very temporary. It's recycled wood, scrap wood that we had. They built it up enough to, for us to be able to haul all the show gear, the booth gear, for overland shows and things like that underneath it. So it got us through. But when we saw Eggway, and they had, it's called the Nest Box. That's their camping setup. So you can camp, you can eat, you can sleep out of these. And they're modular, and they use the existing tie downs. So we talked to the company and said, hey, we're both journalists. We'd love to use it, review it, test it out, see how it goes, and see if it even fits in a Delica. So we're driving down there to their U.S. headquarters to Denver to check it out next week. So more on that coming soon.
Good. So what have you got? Well, okay, so you clearly have been to the SEMA show. What did you do there? What did you find out? What's the latest with that?
You want to start that one?
I was there with Born Industries. We were showing off our latest products and builds and so on and so forth. Actually, Born Industries, Fab Force, Fab 55, and Fab Tech in one booth. And then, of course, SEMA shows like the pulse of the industry. Lots of really cool builds, all kinds of things to see.
And I was there as media. Usually when we go to a lot of the shows, Andy's there as vendor, I'm there as media. So I ran around everywhere and took a bunch of photos and had the chance to meet some people that I've grown to be friends with online. I've interviewed and have never met them in person and met them in person among a lot of familiar faces. So it was not quite the pre-COVID SEMA, but it was getting there. I think a lot of people are really excited to get out there and see some really fabulous products and builds.
So I have to ask, did you actually have a place to post all of the stuff that you wrote and took pictures of?
So far, SEMA is such a long day and a lot of miles that you hoofing it back and forth in between the halls. So far, I've been posting on stories and social via Crankshaft Culture on Instagram, and also my name, so Mercedes _ Lilienthal at Instagram or on Instagram. So there will be articles coming out. Haven't gotten to that quite yet. We literally just got back home, so it's one of my many tasks to do this weekend among pulling the middle seats out.
Well, I'm waiting for you guys to have a website called the Lilienthals.
There you go.
And then you can do anything that you want and post anything on, find out about Andy and Mercedes. I want to know all of the stuff that it's kind of like a cult following here.
I haven't quite figured out how to clone myself yet, or Andy for that matter, but we're trying.
Well, while you're doing the articles, he can do the laundry to get you going for the next thing.
Yeah,
I want to hear about Alcan. I want to hear about the trip, the other trip.
Oh, Alcan trip.
Which trip? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which trip?
In there.
The Alcan 500. Tell everybody what it is first.
Yeah, Alcan 5000 is a 5,000 mile. It's part road rally, part time speed distance competition. Starts in Kirkland, Washington, and then goes north. This went as far north as Dawson City in the Yukon Territories. But we also dipped into Skagway, Alaska, and then we went as far east as Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, and about 1,500 miles of dirt. And just for some sort of a reference, 1,500 miles of dirt is like driving from Arizona to Jasper, Alberta, Canada, without touching pavement. So, or from LA to Jasper without touching pavement. So
a long while.
It's a lot of driving.
And you did this in the Delica?
No, we did this in a 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness. We partnered with Subaru of America on that.
Nice choice.
They provided that vehicle, and it was pretty much the perfect vehicle for that kind of.
Yeah, because last time we talked to you, that's what you were getting ready to go on. The last time we talked to you, and Mike was saying they're not back yet. They're not back yet. So here you are.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. The crew over at Subaru, they make such great all-wheel drive cars, and it was the perfect car for that type of rally. I mean, you're doing 10 days, 5,000 miles, like Andy was saying. And what's interesting is it's part time, speed, distance competition, and then part long transits. So time, speed, distance, it's not like a race, go fast, go crazy, go, get there as quick as you can. You have to. So, for instance, I've got my route book here. I don't know if you can see any of my chicken scratchings here, but they give you a huge route book that you have to follow in part specifically by a certain speed, by a certain length of odometer with mileage. Turn here, go this, change this speed, this and this and this, whatever. And they usually have those in the morning. But then you might have a 539-mile transit to the afternoon time, speed, distance challenge. So there's a lot that goes with it, but the Subaru Wilderness did a pretty darn good job to keep us on track, keep us on point on the roads. The all-wheel drive system was really fantastic, especially in a lot of the slop that we got into.
How many vehicles were in there?
Was the car all painted up down the side? Here come the Lilienthals or something?
It did have a livery on it that Subaru designed. Our names were on the side of it. There were a total of 27 cars.
28 cars, I believe, and 17 motorcycles.
Wow.
So the Alcan 5000 rally is like the Olympics, where it's every other year, and then there's a winter, then there's the summer, then there's the winter. So if you guys remember, you guys had us on, I believe, for the 2020 winter one, where we took our right-hand drive diesel, our Pajero. This year was summer. So, so the summer one allows dual sport motorbikes, adventure bikes, motorcycles. So it was really interesting to ride alongside those guys because, man, there's just one person and they have to do it all. They have to navigate, they have to ride or drive. It just hats off to those guys.
These guys are the real road warriors. I mean, it's just, that's a lot of miles on two wheels. And there was even one team that had a sidecar and a guy, he was actually a quadruple amputee, and he did the thing, and it was amazing. These guys roll in off the dirt sections for the day, just covered in dirt and mud. We had it pretty cushy. That Outback was, has leather seating and heated seats and air conditioning, and the guys on the motorcycle were just out there, wind in their face, so
eating bugs.
Yeah, bugs in their teeth.
When we're worried about the thickness of the crust from the Northwest Territories, I mean, we've got a video on I think Crankshaft Culture. We did very extensive in YouTube, extensive daily reels. So if you visit our Instagram and Facebook page, you'll be able to see all the kind of recap coverage and all the videos and photos we did. We've got one segment of where Andy, there's a huge Alcan 5000 logo on the door, and we knew exactly where it was. He took a credit card and started just scraping off the dirt because you couldn't. I mean, we had to get the rear brake lights clean because, we got out, we went to the bathroom, BFE somewhere in Northwest Territories. Went, oh my gosh, nobody could even see our brake lights. It was so caked on. It was beyond anything we've ever seen before. It was incredible.
I'm told they use calcium chloride on the roads up there in the summertime to get the roads to be harder. And we saw a water truck, but apparently they mix it with calcium chloride to harden that dirt, and it also sticks like Adobe to the side of a car. So,
think about the motorcyclists. I mean, They're wearing it.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, so let's now switch gears and let's talk about the Rebelle Rally.
Yeah, so the Rebelle Rally is a yearly competition, and that's all women. It's map and compass based, so there's no GPS allowed. And this year I partnered with my navigator, Emily Winslow. She's based out of Seattle, Washington, where we're in Oregon, and partnered with Jeep. And so I was one of the 3 Jeep teams, part of corporate, and we drove their 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe plug-in hybrid. And
how did the plug-in hybrid do off-road?
It did great. It was what was awesome about that, and we've only had the opportunity to drive one. Gosh, what was it? 2 years ago, right when they first came out, There was a fleet vehicle that we drove, and we got the okay to take it off the pavement and do some off-roading in it with full EV mode and really test it out for articles. That vehicle is so great because there's instant torque, there's instant power because it has that battery assist to it, and you can run it in all EV mode. I think it's got 21 miles of all EV mode, so it's great. So, for instance, if you've got really technical sections of the Rebelle on the trails where it's really rocky or really steep, you can literally cut the engine and hear what the car is doing. So you can feel, where it's going. You can hear it. You can hear the rocks crunching underneath you, that type of thing. And it's really neat. It's like, oh, there are grasshoppers everywhere. I can hear them whizzing by me instead of just hearing the chug of an engine. So it's pretty cool.
Now, did you have to stop and plug it in at any time?
We did, yeah. So we plugged it in every night. There is a remote base camp that kind of follows the rally. So I think we had 4 base camps total. And a company called Renewable Innovations, they have a couple of different setups. They have a big a dual sunflower solar unit that actually powers base camp. And then they have a mobile truck unit that's a semi-trailer that usually it can run off of hydrogen. And this is the first time at Base Camp 4 that they actually did successfully run off of hydrogen. They've been having issues getting hydrogen in that far deep into the desert, and companies, accidentally saying, yeah, we can't, anymore. We don't have the supplies, whatever, what have you, but they can run on diesel. So they have historically run on diesel to supply it, which is kind of an oxymoron a bit, but it's still such at the forefront for being able to plug in a car in the middle of the desert and being able to run it off-road in EV, in EV form, like the VW last year that it did with the ID4. So as technology is going, as hydrogen becomes more readily available and that type of thing, I know that they want to run on hydrogen the whole time. So, but that's what we did. So we made sure we were topped off in both fuel and electricity, but watts, so to speak, every night.
Yeah. We want to be you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Could you adopt me? I could write. You tell me what to write.
These wrinkles in front of the computer 20 hours a day, yeah. There's
All
a
right.
lot behind that goes on.
Let's go back to where we started and talk about SEMA a little bit. And what stood out to you at SEMA? If you walked the floors for 4 days, something had to really pop for you.
This year for me, there was a lot of really cool retro, vintage, resto mod kind of vehicles that stood out. Being a fan of the oddball stuff, there was a builder who had and I'm not sure what year it was, but there was a totally retro, believe it or not, a Pinto wagon.
Oh, yeah.
With a window in the back. But they had put in, I believe it was the 2.3-liter Ford EcoBoost 4-cylinder under the hood. But they had, the retro wheels on it, the retro paint job, but this modern 2.3-liter. That thing was awesome. There was a Porsche that was done in a safari style that was just killer too. It was just awesome.
Then they had this thing. I don't know if you can see that very well.
With the tracks. Yeah.
An AMC Gremlin on tracks. So we saw lots of wild resto mod, vintage, that kind of stuff, and that was really cool for me.
Did any of the EVs stand out for you at all?
You know what was interesting is there was a number of EV conversions this year that, like, more than just one or two. there were people. There was even in the Jeep booth. Mm-hmm. They had a CJ that had been swapped to electric, and so we're starting to see this proliferation of EV into the aftermarket. So there are companies out there that are swapping over Land Rovers and Jeeps and all kinds of other vehicles. So yeah, there was definitely more EVs this year, and not just like, oh, here's a new EV from Nissan or Volkswagen, but hey, look, we took a Jeep CJ and we turned it into an EV.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a whole electrified section. I'm trying to look for my in my photos here, but there's a whole electrified section back in one of the halls, and it was really interesting to go back there and actually check everything out. You're like, wow, there's this total race car, there's that, there's so many different builds that are out there, and the VW booth actually had a couple of their different ID4s. And to my surprise, the one that I actually rallied last year in the Rebelle Rally was there. I was pretty humbling to just see our name still on there, and it's funny. About a week or two ago, a couple of friends of ours pinged me on Facebook and Instagram and said, "Hey, Jay Leno's got your car." I'm like, "What?" And I had no idea what was going on. Apparently, Jay Leno was with Tanner Faust, and they drove, or Jay had driven the ID4 for a bit, and then they were driving vintage Bugs. I don't have cable; I didn't see the episode, but I thought it was pretty cool.
What was the biggest booth out there? Who had that?
Probably Toyota this year. So Ford decided not to go this year. Toyota took their spot. It spans the entire width of Central Hall, and they had Lexus and Toyota. They had everything from the new Toyota Corolla GR, the fire-breathing all-wheel drive Corolla, to Lexus Overland style builds,
and built up things from Expedition Overland, and
So that was a really big booth. Don't think that some of the aftermarket companies had some pretty big booths as well, but I think that Toyota was probably the biggest. Yeah.
So I'm going to direct this to Mercedes. Who had the prettiest booth? We say that because we have a friend of ours here locally that prepared a Jeep Grand Wagoneer from the 70s, I guess it was, and you need to pull your microphone down, sir.
He did the chassis, he did the body work, he put an LS motor in it, and Laura Ashley did the interior, and now the Jeep is going to travel with Laura Ashley. So I don't know if you had
I don't know if you saw that or not, but those kinds of things I thought were really unique, and especially the interior of this with the Laura Ashley interior. It's kind of like you like it or you don't like it, but whatever the case may be, it definitely high-end all the way. And I know that all those cars out there. We also have another friend of ours that has a company called Paint House here locally. He does some of the most beautiful paint work we've ever seen on an automobile, and he always wins awards.
No, there were so many pretty vehicles in booths. I mean, some of the most iconic ones is, what was it, that gold, that pinstriped and metal flake and multicolored Impala that was slammed?
There were a number of
gorgeous.
There were a number of really kind of traditional, old school lowriders with those unbelievable, absolutely world class multi-layer paint jobs with metal flakes and pinstripes and I mean,
colors.
These are they're unbelievable. Like I don't even know how you do. Actually, I don't know how you do it. It's incredible the amount of time and effort that goes into some of these low-ride paint jobs. But there were actually a number of those. I think we're seeing a resurgence. Well, I know we're seeing a resurgence in kind of 80s and 90s things that were cool. I mean, there was even a couple of mini trucks from the 90s with dancing beds on.
And I never got over there. Yeah. I always love the tilt bed trucks and the ones that have dancing beds. And I saw them and thought, no way. That's how 89 that is. Through Chicago, like I had for a night show way back when in 2000, and I always took the lowrider show down there, and that's kind of where I came from as an automotive enthusiast. But I loved everything imports, and to see the resurgence of that type of style and people going back to their family roots, and maybe COVID has helped shape that again, where people go, you know what, I've got a certain heritage, let's bring that up and let's celebrate it.
Everything comes back in style.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so we love that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for bell bottoms to come back.
Oh, they already are. I'm wearing mine right now. Listen, we got an audio problem with you guys. We don't know what's happened with the internet, but whatever the case may be, we see you and kind of hear you in an echoey kind of way. But we wanted to thank you both so much for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're busy, and we love talking to you guys. And so whenever you get a chance, check in with us. We always like to hear what's going on with you, the Lilienthals.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having us.
We love you guys. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you soon. If we don't talk to you, have a happy holiday season. All right. Mercedes and Andy Lilienthal.
Very cool people.
They
I
are.
like them.
How did we hook up with them?
Connect with them.
Mr. Mars is over there in
Probably the
another
Rebelle
world.
Rally or
Yeah,
one
no,
of
it
those.
was. I think it was their
Alcan.
Delica. I think it was one of the
The
vehicles
Delica?
that
It
he
was
saw.
started with the Rebelle Rally. She was involved with that, and that kind of one thing led to another.
Yeah.
But when
And
Mike
then-
wanted a suggestion this week, I said we haven't had the Lilienthals.
We had them scheduled for the first weekend in December because that was the first weekend they were available. So they
them
they
in.
agreed to move it
Very
up.
cool. Very cool people.
Yeah, most definitely. Love to talk to them. They're so fun. And we didn't know that he works for Warren
Warren
Winches.
Winch.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I knew.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
That's
yeah.
always been his
Well,
not sponsor, but his.
I know, but that's not how we or why we got in touch with them.
no, not at
Completely
all.
different deal.
Yeah.
And when we found that out, it's like, wow. Well, let's talk about winches.
Exactly. That very cool stuff.
Yeah. All right. Like to remind you that you just shoot us an email anytime that you'd like to talk to us. info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Konrad's Car Clinic.
All right.
Let's do that, shall we?
Let's fix something.
Let's talk a little bit about what causes damage to catalytic converters besides the guy
Stealing 'em?
jumping underneath it with a
With a
Sawzall
Sawzall.
trying to cut it off.
Yeah.
Excessive exhaust emissions, under normal conditions, the car exhaust is expected to contain small amounts of unburned fuel and hydrocarbons, and those can be poisonous to a catalytic converter. But when you start having problems such as misfires, vacuum leaks, dirty air filters and stuff, that compounds the issues that your catalytic converter is going to experience. If your car isn't burning the fuel efficiently, your catalytic converter will have to deal with more poisonous nasties than it can handle. Over time, it overloads the converter, and those contaminants can lead to premature converter death. And, that's one of the things in Harris County that is part of the state inspection is your catalytic converter. Not only is it there, but the computer on the car determines whether or not it's working efficiently.
Put a sniffer.
No, they don't put a sniffer. They just jump into your computer and let your computer.
Well, they used to put a sniffer.
Oh, yeah, but that was years ago. Yeah, now they just depend on the quality of the diagnostics in the vehicle. So it's looking for a inefficient converter code, which is a P0420 or P0421. But another thing that can damage catalytic converters is oil contamination. The converter can be damaged because of evaporating oil in your system. Oil does have vapors, and those vapors, again, are drawn through the PCV system and dumped into the induction system, and those get burned in the induction system and pumped into the catalytic converter. Converters are designed to clean the hydrocarbons of fuel, not the hydrocarbons of oil, because with the oil, it brings other contaminants with it. So oil vapors have a real big reason to cause your converter to fail earlier, and most people don't realize that. So if your car is burning oil, pay attention because you want to get something done about that because it's going to damage your converter relatively quick. If the converter isn't operating as it should, the engine power may decrease, fuel economy decreases as well, and there's no reduction in the poisonous gases exiting your engine. At this point, the only solution is a costly catalytic converter replacement. And catalytic converters, depending on the vehicle, $400 to $3,000 for some. And people are learning that as they're getting their converters stolen. But you can incur that same expense just because your converter fails because you aren't maintaining the vehicle properly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was awesome.
I have a bad dealer story.
Oh.
A Florida woman was arrested for grand theft following an investigation into a Chevrolet dealership's payroll. Ariel Rutenbach, 32, was taken into custody Wednesday for allegedly altering payroll at Dimmitt Chevrolet in Clearwater, Florida, about 20 miles west of Tampa, according to an arrest affidavit from Clearwater Police. As one of two people with access to the payroll system, the police report alleges Rudenbach assigned herself $28,179.10 in authorized bonuses between May 20th and July 2022. May 2020 to July 2022.
Oh, so she wasn't stealing much.
I guess.
Well,
Police records show she turned herself in at the local jail and is out on a $5,000 bond. She's charged with grand theft, a second-degree felony.
Because nobody spends time in jail anymore.
You naughty, naughty girl, stealing from the car dealership. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and we are going to finish out today's show with more.
A bang.
With a bang.
With a bang.
A bang for the buck. All right, so stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, Houston, America's greatest hot rod tradition is back. Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 action-packed days of hot rods, customs, classics, trucks, performance cars, and live music. Do not miss the Ultimate Lowrider Showcase, sponsored by Shorty's Hydraulics and the Traditional Rod Garage. Saturday only, it's the Tuner Galleria with 250 imports, JDM, and luxury cars, plus music and models. On the celebrity stage, presented by Nick's Auto Repair and Classic Car Restoration, meet Bad Chad and wife Jolene from Bad Chad Customs on Friday. Saturday, it's Dave Kindig from TV's Bitch and Rise. Sunday, it's Danny Coker and Kevin Mack from TV's Counting Cars. Shop the swap meet and women's world all weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama, November 25th to 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts, part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
Starting to work on your Christmas calendar? Be sure to add the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In Saturday, December 17th. You'll want to attend Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's the Tailpipes and Tacos Christmas Edition, Saturday, December 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the Christmas season with friends and family at Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, December 17th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Konrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. Well, you know what that means.
What? What does
That's
that
a
mean?
wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're online, check out our Facebook page, give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Konrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive all week long and all for free, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and other goodies. You can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeart Radio app. In Wheel Time can also be heard and seen live on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central Time. 30-minute podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider 7 days a week. In Wheel Time, Chief Engineer is the fabulous and famous David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent and Podcast Editor Mike Mars and Mr. Know-It-All, his royalty King Konrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is produced by Shirley Q. Liquor.
All right.
Be sure to join us for the next 3-hour In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, Saturday, November 12th, 2022, starting at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great weekend. Until next time, car lovers, don't forget to turn your clocks forward. Backward.
Spring.
Just do something with it.
Fall back.
It's fall back, isn't it?
Yes, go back an hour.
It's spring
fall
forward.
back.
Fall back tonight.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Go Astros.
Goodbye.